Thank you for joining me in our exploration of A Course in Miracles. In these videos, we read a section of the text and then we practice together one of the lessons. Today, we'll be practicing lesson number 37, and then we review one of the principles of miracles. And so today we'll review principle number 5. So without further ado, I will share the screen so that we can begin. And we begin by clicking on Read A Course in Miracles, clicking on the text, scrolling down the table of contents to chapter 20, The Vision of Holiness. And we are in section number 6, the Temple of the Holy Spirit. The Temple of the Holy Spirit. So we're clicking on that. And then we begin with paragraph 1. The meaning of the Son of God lies solely in his relationship with his Creator. If it were elsewhere, it would rest on contingency, but there is nothing else. And this is wholly loving and forever. Yet has the Son of God invented an unholy relationship between him and his Father. His real relationship is one of perfect union and unbroken continuity. The one he made is partial, self-centered, broken into fragments, and full of fear. The one created by his Father is wholly self-encompassing and self-extending. The one he made is wholly self-destructive and self-limiting. Okay, so we're being introduced to a comparison between the relationship that our true nature has with our Divine Father and with the relationship that the ego has created with the Divine Father. So the relationship that is holy, which is true, is loving and forever. Forever meaning that it is eternal. And then what we're being shown is that, but there's a part of the mind that invented an unholy relationship. And the unholy relationship is one of separation, judgment, the desire to control, want something, need something in order to be okay. So we're being shown here that the real relationship with the Creator is of perfect union and unbroken continuity, again pointing to the eternal, while the one that the ego made is partial, it's self-centered, broken into fragments, and perhaps more importantly, full of fear. So wherever fear is, love is not. So that's how we know when we have stepped into a conditional relationship, what the Course in Miracles calls a special relationship. And to that, the relationship the ego made with the Father, the special relationship, we're being told is wholly self-destructive and self-limiting. And we notice that with the ego, that there is a self-destructive tendency, as if the ego from the moment of its formation is testing mortality, is testing the eternal. And so what we notice is that it gets acted out by self-destructive tendencies through the relationship, and this can only ever happen through relationships, through the relationship with food, through the relationship with our own bodies, with our relationship with ourselves, through the relationship that we have with our families, friendships, the relationship that we have with our community and society, the relationship that we have with our world, the relationship that we have with our environment, our home. So all that we're ever doing here is relationship. And so is the foundation, is the fuel of the relationship wholly loving? Is it playful and curious? Or is the foundation of the relationship, fear-based and guilt-based. So I think that's enough to share here. So let's go now to paragraph 2. I'll go back to sharing the screen. All right, so nothing can show the contrast better than the experience of both a holy and an unholy relationship. The first is based on love and rests on it serene and undisturbed. The body does not intrude upon it. Any relationship in which the body enters is based not on love, but on idolatry. Love wishes to be known, completely understood and shared. It has no secrets, nothing that would keep apart and hide. It walks in sunlight, open-eyed and calm, in smiling welcome and in sincerity, so simple and so obvious, it cannot be misunderstood. All right, I think it's just enough to feel out at this point through this paragraph the description of love. Love wishes to be known. Love wishes to be completely understood. Love wishes to be shared. So if we become servants to love, this is our prescription now to live. Our job then becomes to be vessels, to be broadcasters, to be sharers of love. Love has no secrets, nothing that it would keep apart and hide. Let's continue with the description again to bring it top of mind. Love, just feel this for yourself. Feel what it is to be yourself, a channel and a source, a vessel of love. And just bring this into your mind, into your imagination. So love, as yourself, walks in sunlight, open-eyed and calm. So there you are, walking in the sunlight, open-eyed and calm, in smiling welcome and in sincerity. So there you are, you're yourself, you're a vessel of love, walking in the sunlight, open-eyed and calm, smiling welcomingly and sincerely. We're given a prescription on how to be. And it's nice because it's something that we can easily connect with, easily bring to mind. Now, in this paragraph, we're being introduced to the body, right? And so it says, any relationship in which the body enters is based not on love, but on idolatry. Okay, so let's just hold that for now, and we'll continue with paragraph 3 to hear more about this idolatry. So I'm going to go back to share the screen. Paragraph 3. But idols do not share. Idols accept, but never make return. They can be loved, but cannot love. They do not understand what they are offered, and any relationship in which they enter has lost its meaning. The love of them has made love meaningless. They live in secrecy, hating the sunlight and happy in the body's darkness, where they can hide and keep their secrets hidden along with them. And they have no relationships, for no one else is welcome there. They smile on no one, and those who smile on them they do not see. All right, so paragraph 3 expands on this idea of idol. It's expanding upon that section in paragraph 2 that says, any relationship in which the body enters is based not on love, but on idolatry. So the body is now being defined as an idol. So when we place our love on the body, it's misdirected, it's misguided, and it's not true love, actually. We often mistaken the connection of two physical bodies as love, but bodies do not love. Minds don't even love, because minds, through the lens of conditions, that I need you to be a certain way in order for me to be happy and for me to feel connected. That's not love. That's something else. So when a mind sets itself up to love another through conditions inherently, because I'll only be happy if you behave the way I want and the way I expect, then actually it's not love, it's just simply wanting something. And that's the misunderstanding. So what the Course in Miracles is doing its best to teach us is that there's another kind of love. And that love doesn't want anything, it doesn't need anything. And this is the love that our Creator has for us. And so this is what these first three paragraphs are pointing us to. The definition of idol in paragraph 3 is that so idols accept, but they never return. Idols can be loved, but they cannot love in return. Idols do not understand what they are offered. And then it goes on to say the love of them, the love of an idol makes love meaningless. And so the idols that I can think of that Western culture seems to hook into would be, yes, bodies, romantic relationships, science and technology, money and wealth, fame. These are all distractions. When we give ourselves permission to get honest about it, we realize that they are simply distractions, that they're a cloud or a fog that distract us and prevent us from seeing the eternal. So let's go on to paragraph 4 because I can see that it's starting to talk about love now. So I'm going to go back and share the screen. For paragraph 4, love has no darkened temples where mysteries are kept obscure and hidden from the sun. It does not seek for power, but for relationships. The body is the ego's chosen weapon for seeking power through relationships. And its relationships must be unholy. For what they are, it does not even see. It wants them solely for the offerings on which its idols thrive. The rest it merely throws away. For all that it could offer is seen as valueless. Homeless, the body seeks as many bodies as it can collect to place its idols in, and so establish them as temples to itself. Right, because the ego, the ego seeks to see itself reflected in one another. It can only realize itself through the reflection of others. Let's look at the part where it says, the body is the ego's chosen weapon for seeking power through relationships. Rather than using relationships for healing, for creating the conditions for the holy instant, instead of nurturing a holy relationship, which is unconditional love, to love without wanting anything, without judgment, without attack. Instead, the ego uses them to get what it wants, to get something, which is the power. And so it gets validation, approval, appreciation, control. It gets sex, it gets security, admiration, even. And so what this is saying is that then relationships through the body become more transactional. And so the ego's framework is that I will love you if you can meet my needs. And this is not just in the context of romantic relationships, this is also in the context of our family dynamics as well. But because it's based on conditions, on contingencies, then that is essentially what equals an unholy relationship because of the conditions, because of the contingencies, which in paragraph 1 says that the true love, the true holy relationship, which is the first relationship with our holy creator, our divine creator, is without contingencies. Let's continue for paragraph 5. The Holy Spirit's temple is not a body, but a relationship. The body is an isolated speck of darkness, a hidden secret room, a tiny spot of senseless mystery, a meaningless enclosure carefully protected, yet hiding nothing. Here, the holy relationship escapes reality and seeks for crumbs to keep itself alive. Here it would drag its brothers, holding them here in its idolatry. Here it is safe, for here love cannot enter. The Holy Spirit does not build his temples where love can never be. Would he who see the face of Christ choose as his home the only place in all the universe where it cannot be seen? Okay, so the Holy Spirit's temple is not a body, but a relationship. So it's non-physical. And relationship suggests an exchange, right? That in relationship, there's a giving and receiving. Now we're being shown that the Holy Father's relationship with us is one of giving. And what the Course in Miracles is helping us to see is that, all right, is it now your turn to turn your face to your Creator, the infinite Creator, the Holy Father, to do your part in the relationship? Paragraph 5 describes the body as something quite different to how we interpret the body. The body is an isolated speck of darkness. An isolated speck of darkness. That's the description of the body. The body is an isolated speck of darkness, a hidden secret room, a tiny spot of senseless mystery. The body is a meaningless enclosure, carefully protected, yet hiding nothing. It's quite remarkable that the body can be described in this way. When we're reading this paragraph, perhaps you're thinking, okay, this is my body, but this is all bodies. So all bodies are being construed as an isolated speck of darkness, a hidden secret room, a tiny spot of senseless mystery. And further on in the paragraph, it's saying here, it is safe because here in the body, love cannot enter. So what do you think about that? The paragraph finishes with, would he who, capital H, capital W, would he who sees the face of Christ choose as his home, capital H, his home, the only place in all the universe where it cannot be seen? So somehow in this paragraph, the body feels like a trap. It feels like a distraction. It sounds like it's not where God is. So let's keep going with paragraph 6. You cannot make the body the Holy Spirit's temple, and it will never be the seat of love. Okay. It is the home of the idolater and of love's condemnation. For here is love made fearful and hope abandoned. Even the idols that are worshipped here are shrouded in mystery and kept apart from those who worship them. This is the temple dedicated to no relationships and no return. Here is the mystery of separation perceived in awe and held in reverence. What God would have not be is here kept safe from him. But what you do not realize is what you fear within your brother and would not see in him is what makes God seem fearful to you and kept unknown. Yeah. So, all right. So, okay, so it starts with you cannot make the body the Holy Spirit's temple. So the body is not the Holy Spirit's temple. And this is interesting because a lot of the Eastern practitioners will say that the body is the temple. So what this is saying is the body is not the Holy Spirit's temple. It may be the temple for your small will, your soul, your inner light spark, but not the seat of the Holy Spirit. It's not the source. But as we learn, love wants to amplify, it wants to expand. And so what is possible through the context of the holy relationship is the possibility of expansion, because love wants to beget itself. And so through the holy love relationship, love can beget itself. It can expand. It wants to expand. And so when love enters into a relationship with a brother or sister, then inevitably love is going to seek out that which is unlike itself. It's going to seek out that which is unloving. And so it's going to start to touch upon the insecurities, the self-doubt, the guilt, the past hurts, the past patterns, and it's going to bring them to the surface. And I think this is what creates the conditions for the special relationship, because we meet one another with this need for them to treat us in a certain kind of way to help us heal, but not realizing that the purpose is to let more love in to make whole, which is, again, the root of the word heal. And I say again because I talk about this a lot. I mentioned this many times. But what happens is that as love enters, then, and at first, especially in the context of a loving new romantic relationship, there is perfection. Oftentimes there is, simply perfection. But then eventually the things that you loved eventually become the things that are the most annoying, the most irritating. And that's when it turns into the special relationship. That's what that feels like. And that unpleasant feeling is actually just love bumping up against that which has not been healed yet. But the ego will blame the other person, will say, well, it's them. And what if it isn't? And so when a relationship meets that place, it's either break up or break through, right? And so there is something on the other side. On the other side is the possibility of a holy relationship where there is more expansion, because that's what love wants to do. Love wants to expand. Let's keep going for paragraph 7. Idolaters will always be afraid of love, for nothing so severely threatens them as love's approach. Let love draw near them and overlook the body, as it will surely do, and they retreat in fear, feeling the seeming firm foundation of their temple begin to shake and loosen. Brother, you tremble with them. Yet what you fear is but the herald of escape. This place of darkness is not your home. Your temple is not threatened. You are an idolater no longer. The Holy Spirit's purpose lies safe in your relationship and not your body. You have escaped the body. Where you are, the body cannot enter, for the Holy Spirit has set his temple there. Okay, so this paragraph is painting the picture that when we love through the body, when the ego loves conditionally through the body to get something because it wants something, then actually, more truly, it's afraid of love. And I will add that it's afraid of love because it's afraid to be truly seen, because it doesn't actually rest in the truth of actual self-worth. When a human mind does not see itself, including the body, through the eyes of the Creator to see their own magnificence truly, then how is it possible to see the magnificence in another? It's going to the inner lack of worthiness, self-doubt, the guilt, the fear is going to get projected onto the new relationship and onto the brother and the sister. But this paragraph is just simply saying it's okay, because the Holy Spirit has not put its temple in your body, but it lies safe in your relationship. Let's continue with paragraph 8. There is no order in relationships. They either are or are not. An unholy relationship is no relationship. It is a state of isolation, which seems to be what it is not. No more than that. The instant that the mad idea of making your relationship with God unholy seemed to be possible, all your relationships were made meaningless. In that unholy instant, time was born and bodies made to house the mad idea and give it the illusion of reality. And so it seemed to have a home that held together for a little while in time and vanished. For what could house this mad idea against reality but for an instant? Whoa. Oh my goodness. Okay, so wow. An unholy relationship is a relationship that is based on conditions, based on judgment, based on wanting something, needing something in order to be happy, to be okay, in order to be able to love. This is saying that that kind of relationship is not a relationship, but instead it is a state of isolation. And so now it becomes clear why we have the conditions for depression, for anxiety, for mental disruption, mental disease, for illusions, and then the body acting out those illusions. The instant that the mad idea of making your relationship with God unholy seemed to be possible, all your relationships were made meaningless. Okay, and then in that holy instant, time was born. And so in that moment, that little spray of ocean separated from the ocean just for this little while held the belief of being separate, incomplete, unholy, unworthy, and then in a short while return to the ocean. And so here we're being reminded that this mad idea of illusion can only be sustained for an instant. Our lives don't feel like an instant, but the reality is the body is not eternal. It is not here on this world to stay. Nobody gets out of this experience alive, right? It is going to be over. Let's continue for paragraph 9. Idols must disappear and leave no trace behind their going. The unholy instant of their seeming power is frail, as is a snowflake, but without its loveliness. Is this the substitute you want for the eternal blessing of the holy instant and its unlimited beneficence? Is the malevolence of the unholy relationship so seeming powerful and so bitterly misunderstood and so invested in a false attraction your preference to the holy instant, which offers you peace and understanding? Then lay aside the body and quietly transcend it, rising to welcome what you really want. And from his holy temple, look you not back on what you have awakened from, for no illusions can attract the mind that has transcended them and left them far behind. Okay, so this is inviting a little meditation here to just be still, to expand consciousness. And you can even in a practical way, just let your mind expand beyond the body and let your mind reach the ceiling of the room and look down on the body. See the body from the point of view of each corner of the room. And keep expanding the consciousness to see all that is contained around the body. So expand your attention even beyond that to include the whole home, expand your attention to include the whole town, but still keeping your inner eye, your insight on the body as it's sitting there, or is it, I don't know where you're listening to this, but maybe you're listening in the car or wherever you are, but see the body contained in the environment that it's in. But this exercise helps to bring the brainwave states from beta into alpha into theta, and it's there in theta that we can connect with the divine mind. And so from that perspective, we look down at the body and realize that we can transcend the body. And then we enter into more fully the relationship with the divine. And again, keep in mind that it is a relationship that you have with the body. The body doesn't have a relationship with you. You have a relationship with the body. The body is only ever an effect of your relationship with it, the thoughts that you're thinking about it, the function that you have assigned to it, and what it is that it is acting out based on the direction that you've given it. So let's keep going for paragraph 10. So the holy relationship reflects the true relationship the Son of God has with his Father in reality. The Holy Spirit rests within it, in the certainty it will endure forever. Its firm foundation is eternally upheld by truth. And love shines on it with the gentle smile and tender blessing it offers to its own. Here the unholy instant is exchanged in gladness for the holy one of safe return. Here is the way to true relationships held gently open through which you and your brother walk together, leaving the body thankfully behind and resting in the everlasting arms. And E and A of everlasting arms are capitalized. So I'll read that section again. Here is the way to true relationships held gently open through which you and your brother walk together, leaving the body thankfully behind and resting in the everlasting arms. Love's arms, again capitalized, love's arms are open to receive you and give you peace forever. Okay, so let's extend our meditation to expanding our awareness to see ourselves from the point of view of the ceiling, looking down at the body, expanding beyond that to go beyond the ceiling, to see the whole home, the whole house, to see the whole town, to see the whole state even, just keeping expanding until you find that it's in love's arms that you find yourself. It's love's arms that you rest into, you fall into. See all of this as an expression of love. And so as you keep expanding your consciousness, it's into love's arms that you are nestling into. So perhaps you want to engage your imagination as the bridge to connect with that imagery so that you can expand consciousness beyond the body and just find yourself embraced in love's embrace, which is what you are. You never leave love's embrace. It's only ever always here. It's just the mind will tell a different story. It's the mind that leaves love. Love never leaves you. So we'll go back to share the screen for paragraph 11. The body is the ego's idol, the belief in sin made flesh and then projected outward. This produces what seems to be a wall of flesh around the mind, keeping it prisoner in a tiny spot of space and time, beholden unto death and given but an instant in which to sigh and grieve and die in honor of its master. And this unholy instant seems to be life, an instant of despair, a tiny island of dry sand, bereft of water, and set uncertainly upon oblivion. Here does the Son of God stop briefly by to offer his devotion to death's idols and then pass on. And here he is more dead than living. Yet it is also here he makes his choice again between idolatry and love. Here it is given him to choose to spend this instant paying tribute to the body, or let himself be given freedom from it. Here he can accept the holy instant offered him to replace the unholy one he chose before. And here can he learn relationships are his salvation, not his doom. Right. Okay, so it's through relationships that we find our true essence. I'm just going to go back to share the screen because we're almost complete with this. Yeah, okay, paragraph 12. You who are learning this may still be fearful, but you are not immobilized. The holy instant is of greater value now to you than its unholy seeming counterpart, and you have learned you really want but one. This is no time for sadness, perhaps confusion, but hardly discouragement. You have a real relationship, and it has meaning. It is as like your real relationship with God as equal things are like unto each other. Idolatry is past and meaningless. Perhaps you fear your brother a little yet. Perhaps a shadow of the fear of God remains with you. Yet what is that to those who have been given one true relationship beyond the body? Can they be long held back from looking at the face of Christ? And can they long withhold the memory of their relationship with their Father from themselves and keep remembrance of his love apart from their awareness? So I can see how this would be quite scary because it is suggesting that we be released from the mortal coil, from the body, through the portal of the relationship, come home to the holy relationship that is intact, that is eternal, to fully experience that can only happen outside of the body. And so therefore the body cannot come with us in this framework. So I can see how that can be frightening. However, it's saying the holy instant is of greater value now to you than the unholy counterpart. The unholy counterpart being loving, or the appearance of love, which is not love, but the apparent appearance of love through conditions, through judgment, through manipulation and control, through power struggles, through our wounds, through the not enough story, through lack, through limitation, through stuckness, essentially all the artifacts of the belief of separation. That's the unholy counterpart. It's saying, okay, by now, you have learned that you really want but one relationship, and that relationship, the one that you want to choose, is the holy relationship, the one that is real, that is eternal, that is unconditional. And so it's finishing with this beautiful question. Can you be long held back from looking on the face of Christ, the Christos, the light? Can you long withhold the memory of your relationship with your Father from yourself? Can you keep remembrance of his love apart from your awareness? Because when we do that, it hurts, it's painful. That is the true cause of depression, of anxious feelings, of being frightened, of being overwhelmed. And so let's go back now to the workbook. And so let's see what lesson 37. All right, so I've skipped ahead. All right, so we're going to lesson 37. And as always, I'm going to have the narrator read the lesson for us. The lesson is, My holiness blesses the world.
Lesson 37. My holiness blesses the world. This idea contains the first glimmerings of your true function in the world, or why you are here. Your purpose is to see the world through your own holiness. Thus are you and the world blessed together. No one loses, nothing is taken away from anyone. Everyone gains through your holy vision. It signifies the end of sacrifice because it offers everyone his full due. And he is entitled to everything because it is his birthright as a son of God. There is no other way in which the idea of sacrifice can be removed from the world's thinking. Any other way of seeing will inevitably demand payment of someone or something. As a result, the perceiver will lose. Nor will he have any idea why he is losing. Yet is his wholeness restored to his awareness through your vision. Your holiness blesses him by asking nothing of him. Those who see themselves as whole make no demands. Your holiness is the salvation of the world. It lets you teach the world that it is one with you, not by preaching to it, not by telling it anything, but merely by your quiet recognition that in your holiness are all things blessed along with you. Today's 4 longer exercise periods, each to involve 3 to 5 minutes of practice, begin with the repetition of the idea for today, followed by a minute or so of looking about you as you apply the idea to whatever you see. My holiness blesses this chair. My holiness blesses that window. My holiness blesses this body. Then close your eyes and apply the idea to any person who occurs to you, using his name and saying, My holiness blesses you, blank. You may continue the practice period with your eyes closed. You may open your eyes again and apply the idea for today to your outer world if you so desire. You may alternate between applying the idea to what you see around you and to those who are in your thoughts, or you may use any combination of these 2 phases of application that you prefer. The practice period should conclude with a repetition of the idea with your eyes closed and another, following immediately, with your eyes open. The shorter exercises consist of repeating the idea as often as you can. It is particularly helpful to apply it silently to anyone you meet, using his name as you do so. It is essential to use the idea if anyone seems to cause an adverse reaction in you. Offer him the blessing of your holiness immediately, that you may learn to keep it in your own awareness.
Okay, beautiful. So the idea for today is my holiness blesses the world. Today you have 4 longer exercise periods. So 1 in the morning, 1 in the evening, and then 2 scattered in the day. You're setting a timer for 3 to 5 minutes for those practice periods. This practice is with eyes open. And so you begin the practice period with eyes open, looking around, repeating, my holiness blesses this chair. My holiness blesses that window. And then you go ahead and close your eyes, applying the idea to any person who occurs to you in your mind. And you'll apply their name to today's idea. So, for example, my holiness blesses you, and then give the name. The instructions are saying that you can continue the practice period with your eyes closed. If you like, you can open them again, applying the idea to your outer world, or you may alternate between applying the idea to what you see around you to those who are in your thoughts. Then there is the opportunity to practice the idea just throughout the day. And that would be repeating the idea as often as you can. And then if there's somebody in your world who happens to push your buttons, where you notice a stress response around, then you actively apply the idea to them in your mind. And that is to say, my holiness blesses you, and say their name. All right, so let us set a timer for 5 minutes. practicing the idea for today. So as I set up the timer, I'm going to go ahead and share the screen again so that you can see the language. Okay. We're going to practice for 5 minutes. So as always, start to prepare. This is a mini meditation. It's a practice of meditation. And so just gently bring your attention to your body as it is, supported by the floor, supported by the chair, aware of your own heart beating, aware of your breathing. Go ahead and let the burdens, the weight, the burdens of everyday life just flow from your shoulders. Release the weight of the world. All right, I'm going to go ahead and start the timer. And so go ahead and just start looking around. My holiness blesses this, and then say the object. My holiness blesses that, and say the object. Okay, and so when you're ready, you can let your eyelids rest over your eyes. And just letting anybody that you know or even don't really know come to mind, any person who occurs to you. And so say to yourself, my holiness blesses you, and say their name. And if you like, you can open your eyes again to look around and practice the idea on the outer world. My holiness blesses that cup. My holiness blesses this body. Okay, and so that's our timer. And so with that practice, you can alternate between eyes open, eyes closed, eyes open, eyes closed again. And then just a reminder that you're practicing the idea throughout the day. And especially if you come across somebody who has the gift to push your buttons in such a way that you experience a stress response. And so you immediately go to bless them. So offer him or her the blessing of your holiness immediately, that you may learn to keep it in your own awareness. All right, very good. So let's see. So I'm going to go back and share the screen again for our principle of miracles. So we're going back to the text. We click on chapter 1, the meaning of miracles, section 1, principles of miracles, and we're scrolling down to number 5. And one thing I sometimes suggest is to take a screenshot so that you can refer back to it and contemplate it and use it as a prompt for meditation. Principle number 5. Miracles are habits and should be involuntary. They should not be under conscious control. Consciously selected miracles can be misguided. Yes, because the I is not the source of the miracle. Love is. When we get in our own way and have a desire for a miracle, then the results can be something else. All right. So thank you once again for joining me with this little experiment as we explore A Course in Miracles. I hope you're enjoying it. Please let me know any thoughts or questions in the comments. And I also invite you to join any of the online classes, specifically the regular meditation class that's on the third Tuesday of the month at 7 p.m. Eastern. You can go to the website elilacenter.org and just look on the calendar. The registration link is there in the calendar. Alternatively, on the fourth Monday of the month, I offer a meditation, natural healing, self-help class that's also at 7 p.m. And so I invite you to join them. If you're in person, I would love to meet you. We can practice in person together, but the online registration links are there for you to join virtually. All right, so have a wonderful day, and I will see you next time.